Everyone. Have you ever met someone who seemed charming at first but later revealed a completely different side? It's often said that actions speak louder than words, and I believe that to truly understand someone's character, you don't need years. You just need to observe 5 key things. How someone treats people who cannot benefit them is one of the most revealing aspects of their true character. It is easy to be kind, respectful, and courteous to those in positions of power or to those from whom we seek something in return. Many people put on their best behavior when dealing with bosses, influential individuals, or anyone who can provide them with opportunities, favors, or social advantages. However, the way a person interacts with those who have nothing to offer them, such as waiters, janitors, drivers, security guards, or strangers, sheds light on their genuine personality. If someone is polite and respectful only to those they deem important, but dismissive, rude, or indifferent to those they perceive as insignificant, it indicates a lack of true kindness and empathy. Genuine character is not about selective decency. It is about treating every human being with the same level of respect and dignity, regardless of their social status, profession, or background. A person who values kindness will hold a door open for a stranger, thank the cashier at the grocery store, and acknowledge the presence of those who are often overlooked. On the other hand, someone who looks down on service workers, ignores greetings from those they consider unimportant, or acts as though certain people are beneath them, reveals an arrogant and self-serving nature. Moreover, the way a person treats those in lower positions can be a strong indicator of how they will behave in relationships, friendships, or professional settings in the long run. A person who is only kind when they need something may eventually show the same conditional behavior toward their close ones. When the situation no longer benefits them, they may withdraw their warmth and become indifferent. This is why it is essential to observe not just how a person treats us, but how they treat those from whom they have nothing to gain. True kindness, humility, and respect are qualities that remain constant no matter the circumstances. How someone handles failure and adversity is one of the most telling signs of their true character. It is easy to appear strong, composed, and optimistic when everything is going well, but a person's real nature emerges when they face setbacks, disappointments, or challenges. Some people take responsibility for their mistakes, learn from them, and use difficulties as an opportunity to grow. They acknowledge their shortcomings, adapt, and find ways to move forward despite the obstacles in their path. These individuals demonstrate resilience, maturity, and self-awareness, showing that they can handle life's unpredictability with grace. On the other hand, some react to adversity with blame, denial, or anger, refusing to accept responsibility for their actions. They may point fingers at others, make excuses, or fall into negativity, revealing a lack of accountability and emotional strength. A person's ability to deal with hardship also reflects their problem-solving skills and mental endurance. Some people collapse under pressure, allowing failure to define them, while others rise above the situation and push through difficulties with determination. The way a person reacts to failure can also affect those around them. Someone who lashes out, complains constantly, or becomes bitter can create a toxic environment for their peers, family. In contrast, those who maintain a positive attitude, take challenges as lessons, and show perseverance become sources of inspiration and strength for others. Hard times are an inevitable part of life, and it is in these moments that a person's core values and character become most apparent. Do they stay honest and hardworking when things don't go their way? Or do they resort to deceit and shortcuts? Do they give up easily? or do they fight through difficulties with integrity? Observing how someone handles setbacks will reveal far more about their character than how they behave when everything is in their favor. Another key indicator of a person's true character is how they speak about others when they are not around. It is easy to be friendly and respectful to someone's face, but what a person says behind closed doors reveals their genuine thoughts, values, and integrity. If someone constantly criticizes, gossips, or speaks negatively about others in private, it is likely that they will do the same about anyone, even their closest friends or family members. This kind of behavior suggests insincerity, insecurity, or a tendency to tear others down rather than uplift them. A person who is quick to judge or mock others when they are not present is often projecting their own issues, and their words can be a reflection of their character rather than the faults of those they are talking about. Conversely, someone who speaks kindly of others, even when they are not there to hear it, shows integrity, loyalty, and a positive mindset. They understand the value of respect and know that true character is not just about how you treat people when they are watching, but also about how you talk about them when they are not. If a person defends their friends in their absence, avoids engaging in unnecessary gossip, and chooses to highlight people's strengths rather than their weaknesses, it demonstrates emotional maturity and trustworthiness. This trait is especially important in personal and professional relationships. If someone is known for talking badly about others, they will likely do the same to you when you are not around. Choosing to observe how people speak about others in private settings can be a strong measure of their honesty, compassion, and reliability. How a person acts when they have power is one of the clearest reflections of their true character. Power, whether in the form of authority, wealth, influence, or leadership, has a way of magnifying a person's real nature. When someone is given control over others, whether as a boss, a team leader, or in any position of authority, it reveals whether they use their influence to uplift people or to dominate and belittle them. Some individuals, when placed in positions of power, remain humble, kind, and fair, using their status to help others grow and succeed. They understand that leadership is about responsibility, not superiority. And they treat people with respect regardless of their own position. They listen to others, value different perspectives, and make decisions with fairness and integrity. However, power can also bring out the worst in people. Some individuals become arrogant, controlling, or dismissive, treating others as inferior simply because they hold a higher status. They may abuse their authority, take advantage of those beneath them, or act as though they are above basic rules of decency. Such behavior indicates a lack of empathy and an inflated ego, revealing that their true character is built on dominance rather than genuine leadership. Power does not corrupt people, it merely exposes who they truly are. A person who was always kind, respectful, and just will continue to be so, no matter how much power they acquire. But a person who was only pretending to be decent will often show their true colors once they feel untouchable. The way someone treats those who depend on them or work under them says a lot about their values, and paying attention to this aspect of their behavior can reveal whether they are truly deserving of the influence they hold. Another revealing trait of a person's character is how they treat commitments and promises. In a world where words are often spoken lightly, the ability to follow through on commitments is a clear sign of integrity and reliability. Some people make promises easily, telling others what they want to hear in the moment, but when the time comes to fulfill those promises, they disappear, make excuses, or act as if their words never mattered. This shows a lack of responsibility and a disregard for the trust others place in them. On the other hand, a person who values their commitments understands that their word is a reflection of their character. If they say they will do something, they make sure to follow through even when it is inconvenient or difficult. They do not make empty promises, and when they give their word, it carries weight. Commitment is not just about keeping big promises, it extends to everyday actions, such as showing up on time, being dependable, and staying true to one's responsibilities. A person who constantly cancels plans, forgets obligations, or fails to meet expectations without valid reasons reveals a lack of discipline and consideration for others. In contrast, those who honor their commitments, no matter how small, demonstrate responsibility and respect for the people who rely on them. The way someone treats their promises is a reflection of their overall character. Whether they are trustworthy, dependable, and respectful of others, or whether they take relationships and responsibilities for granted. A person's true nature is also revealed through their actions when they think no one is watching. Many people put on a show of good behavior when they know they are being observed, but their real values come to light when they are alone or in situations where they believe there are no consequences. A person who acts with honesty, kindness, and integrity even when no one is there to witness it is someone who possesses strong moral values. They do the right thing not because they seek recognition or praise, but because it is a part of who they are. However, those who behave differently when they believe no one is watching often reveal an inconsistent character. They may show kindness in public but act selfishly or unethically in private. They may present themselves as honest but cheat, lie, or cut corners when they think they can get away with it. This kind of behavior suggests that their good actions are only for appearances rather than being a genuine part of their personality. True character is not about performing for others. It is about consistency, integrity, and living by one's values, regardless of who is watching. The way a person behaves when there is no external pressure to act a certain way is a direct reflection of their true self. A person's true character is reflected in how they react when confronted with the truth, especially when it is something they do not want to hear. No one enjoys being criticized or corrected, but the way someone handles feedback, whether constructive or harsh, reveals a lot about their maturity, humility, and self-awareness. Some people take criticism as an opportunity to grow, listening carefully, acknowledging their mistakes, and making efforts to improve. They understand that no one is perfect and that feedback, even when uncomfortable, is valuable for personal and professional development. They do not react defensively or lash out when someone points out their flaws, but instead appreciate honesty and use it as a tool for self-betterment. On the other hand, some people become hostile, dismissive, or overly defensive when confronted with their mistakes. Instead of listening and reflecting, they immediately go into denial, shift the blame onto others, or try to justify their actions without considering the possibility that they might be wrong. This unwillingness to accept feedback often stems from insecurity, arrogance, or an inflated sense of self-importance. People who cannot handle criticism often struggle in relationships and workplaces because they refuse to acknowledge their weaknesses or learn from their experiences. They may surround themselves with people who only tell them what they want to hear, avoiding any form of accountability. True character is demonstrated by a person's ability to listen with an open mind, accept responsibility when necessary, and work towards self-improvement rather than reacting with anger or stubbornness. The way someone deals with being corrected speaks volumes about their emotional intelligence and their capacity for growth. Another key indicator of character is how a person behaves when they are in a position of disagreement or conflict. Disagreements are a natural part of life, whether in friendships, romantic relationships, workplaces, or social settings. However, the way someone handles a disagreement reveals their true personality. Some people can engage in discussions with respect, patience, and a willingness to understand different perspectives. They listen actively, express their opinions rather than escalating tensions. These individuals are emotionally mature and know how to separate differences in opinion from personal attacks. Even when they are upset, they maintain a level of respect and self-control, showing that they value relationships more than being right. On the other hand, some people become aggressive, disrespectful, or manipulative when faced with conflict. They raise their voices, insult others, or refuse to acknowledge valid points simply because they do not want to admit they might be wrong. Some resort to passive-aggressive behavior, emotional manipulation, or holding grudges, rather than addressing the issue with honesty and maturity. People who lack good character often see every disagreement as a battle to be won rather than an opportunity to find common ground. They prioritize their ego over healthy communication and damage relationships in the process. Observing how someone argues, whether they are willing to listen, and whether they can disagree without disrespecting others, reveals a great deal about their personality. True character is not about always agreeing with others, but about handling disagreements with dignity, rationality, and respect. The way a person treats animals can also be a powerful indicator of their true nature. Unlike people, animals do not judge, hold grudges, or offer material benefits, so how someone interacts with them is a direct reflection of their empathy and kindness. Those with good hearts treat animals with care and compassion, whether it is a pet, a stray animal, or even a creature they encounter in the wild. They recognize that animals, like humans, experience fear, pain, and affection, and they do not take advantage of their vulnerability. People who are naturally gentle with animals tend to be more empathetic and nurturing in their interactions with others as well. Conversely, people who are cruel, neglectful, or indifferent toward animals often display a lack of empathy and emotional depth. Some may see animals as inferior beings, treating them as objects rather than living creatures with emotions. This kind of behavior can be a warning sign of a deeper lack of compassion, as studies have shown that individuals who harm animals are more likely to show similar disregard for human suffering. Even small gestures, such as feeding a hungry stray or ensuring a pet is well cared for, reflect a person's level of kindness and responsibility. How someone interacts with animals, especially when there is no one around to praise or judge them, is a strong indication of their true character. Another revealing aspect of a person's character is how they handle success and achievements. Many people dream of success, whether in their careers, personal goals, or social status, but not everyone remains the same once they achieve it. A person with true character stays humble, grateful, and grounded no matter how much success they attain. They do not allow achievements to change their treatment of others, and they continue to respect and appreciate the people who supported them along the way. Instead of becoming arrogant or entitled, they use their success to uplift others, share opportunities, and remain connected to their core values. They remember where they came from and understand that success is not just about personal gain, but also about contributing to the well-being of others. However, some people change drastically when they achieve success. They become arrogant, dismissive of those who help them, and begin to look down on others who have not reached the same level. They may start treating people differently based on their status, only associating with those they see as equally successful while disregarding old friends or colleagues who are no longer useful to them. This kind of behavior suggests that their kindness and humility were conditional, and that deep down they value status more than genuine connections. True character is not about how someone behaves when they are struggling, it is about how they behave when they have power, recognition, or wealth. Success should never be an excuse to abandon humility and gratitude. Observing how someone reacts to their own achievements, whether they stay humble or allow pride to consume them, reveals their true nature. The way a person treats their family is a strong reflection of their true character. Family relationships are some of the longest and most significant connections a person will ever have. And how someone interacts with their parents, siblings, or other relatives can reveal a great deal about their values and personality. Some people treat their family with love, patience, and respect, understanding that these relationships require effort and appreciation. They make time for their loved ones, offer support during difficult times, and maintain strong connections even when life gets busy. They understand that family bonds should not be taken for granted and that respect within a household is just as important as respect in the outside world. On the other hand, some people are dismissive, rude, or neglectful toward their family members, treating them with less kindness than they would a stranger. They may speak harshly to their parents, ignore their siblings, or refuse to contribute to the well-being of their household. This behavior can indicate selfishness, entitlement, or a lack of gratitude. Of course, not all family relationships are perfect, and some people come from difficult backgrounds, but the key factor is whether a person makes an effort to treat their family with decency and respect. If someone is disrespectful or unkind to the people who have been in their life the longest, it raises questions about how they will treat others in long-term friendships, romantic relationships, or professional environments. Family dynamics may not always be easy, but a person of good character strives to handle them with care, patience, and a sense of responsibility. The way a person handles money also speaks volumes about their values and priorities. Money has the power to reveal a person's level of discipline, generosity, and integrity. Some people are responsible with their finances, understanding the importance of budgeting, saving, and using their resources wisely. They do not allow money to control them, and they avoid reckless spending, dishonesty, or greed. These individuals are also generous when they can afford to be, willing to help those in need without expecting anything in return. They understand that money is a tool, not the ultimate measure of success or happiness, and they use it in a way that aligns with their principles. In contrast, some people become greedy, materialistic, or reckless when dealing with money. They may be dishonest in their financial dealings, take advantage of others for personal gain, or spend irresponsibly without considering future consequences. Some individuals place excessive importance on wealth, valuing people based on their financial status rather than their character. Others may become selfish, refusing to share or support even when they are in a position to help. A person's relationship with money can reveal whether they are generous and responsible or self-centered and careless. Observing how someone manages their finances and whether they let money change their behavior can provide deep insights into their true personality. Another crucial aspect of character is how a person reacts when they see injustice or wrongdoing. When faced with a situation where someone is being treated unfairly, bullied, or taken advantage of, a person's reaction reveals whether they are truly compassionate and courageous. Some people are willing to stand up for what is right, even when it is difficult or inconvenient. They speak out against injustice, offer help when they see someone struggling, and refuse to remain silent in the face of wrongdoing. These individuals demonstrate moral strength, integrity, and a sense of responsibility toward others. They do not look away simply because an issue does not directly affect them. Instead, they take action when they see someone in need. On the other hand, some people choose to remain silent or ignore injustice, either out of fear, indifference, or selfishness. They may turn a blind eye when they see someone being mistreated, unwilling to get involved because it does not benefit them. Others may even participate in harmful behaviors, justifying them as normal or acceptable. A person's willingness to stand up for what is right, even when there is no personal gain, demonstrates the depth of their character. True morality is not about convenience, it is about doing what is right, even when it is difficult. Watching how someone reacts in moments of injustice can reveal whether they are truly kind and courageous, or whether they prioritize their own comfort over doing what is right. A revealing sign of a person's character is how they act when they are in a position of dependency or vulnerability. Life is full of moments when people need help, whether due to illness, financial struggles, emotional hardships, or other personal difficulties. Some individuals handle these moments with humility and gratitude, accepting help with appreciation and acknowledging the kindness of those who support them. They do not take generosity for granted, nor do they manipulate others into doing more than they should. Instead, they recognize that everyone needs help at some point and show gratitude for the assistance they receive. They also make an effort to recover and become independent again, rather than relying on others indefinitely. However, some people become entitled, manipulative, or selfish when they are in a vulnerable position. Instead of appreciating the help they receive, they expect it as if it is owed to them. Some may take advantage of others' kindness, demanding more without considering the burden they place on those around them. Others may use their hardships as an excuse to avoid taking responsibility for their actions. A person's attitude in times of need reflects their inner values. Whether they are humble, grateful, and willing to work toward a better future, or whether they feel entitled to constant support without making an effort to improve their situation. Lastly, the way a person treats children can reveal their level of patience, kindness, and emotional intelligence. Children, like animals, are vulnerable and impressionable, meaning they rely on the guidance and behavior of the adults around them. Some people treat children with patience and respect, understanding that they are still learning and growing. They speak to them with kindness, take the time to listen to their thoughts, and encourage their curiosity and development. They do not belittle or dismiss them simply because they are young, but instead, they treat them with the same dignity they would offer an adult. This behavior reflects a deep sense of empathy and an ability to nurture and support others, even in situations where they may not receive anything in return. On the other hand, some people are impatient, dismissive, or even cruel toward children. Becoming frustrated with their questions, mistakes, or energy, they may ignore them, speak harshly, or show little interest in their well-being. This kind of behavior often reveals a lack of emotional depth and compassion. People who lack patience with children may also struggle with patience in other areas of life, including relationships and workplaces. How someone interacts with those who are younger, smaller, and more vulnerable says a great deal about their ability to care for others selflessly. Those who treat children with warmth and kindness often carry the same attitude into all aspects of their lives, showing that their character is built on understanding, patience, and genuine concern for the well-being of others. The way a person handles failure is one of the most revealing aspects of their character. Everyone experiences setbacks in life, whether it is a failed relationship, a lost job, an unsuccessful project, or a personal disappointment. These moments of failure test a person's resilience, humility, and ability to learn and grow. Some individuals take failure as an opportunity for self-improvement. They reflect on what went wrong, take responsibility for their mistakes, and use the experience as a stepping stone to become better. Instead of dwelling on self-pity or blaming others, they accept failure as a natural part of life and find ways to move forward with wisdom and determination. They understand that setbacks do not define them, but rather how they respond to those setbacks does. In contrast, some people handle failure poorly, reacting with anger, denial, or blame. Instead of looking inward to see what they could have done differently, they immediately shift responsibility to others or external circumstances. Some may become bitter, refusing to try again out of fear of repeated failure, while others may lash out, becoming envious of those who succeed. There are also those who give up entirely, seeing failure as a sign that they are not good enough rather than as an opportunity for growth. A person's true character is revealed in these difficult moments. Whether they rise from their failures with grace and perseverance, or whether they allow setbacks to define them in a negative way. Failure is not the end, but how a person chooses to handle it shows their strength, mindset, and emotional resilience. Another significant indicator of character is how a person behaves when they are given a choice between what is easy and what is right. Life is full of moments when people must choose between taking a shortcut for personal gain or standing by their principles even when it is difficult. Some individuals always choose the easier path, even if it involves dishonesty, cutting corners, or compromising their value. They may justify small acts of dishonesty, thinking that as long as no one finds out, it does not matter. But these seemingly small choices reveal a lot about their true nature. A person who frequently chooses convenience over integrity may lack the strength to stand by their values in bigger situations. On the other hand, those with strong character choose to do what is right, even when it is difficult. They uphold their morals, even when no one is watching, refusing to engage in dishonest or unethical behavior just to make things easier for themselves. They understand that integrity is not about appearances, but about consistently making ethical choices regardless of the consequences. They are willing to accept short-term struggles in exchange for long-term self-respect, knowing that taking shortcuts may bring temporary benefits but ultimately erodes trust and personal integrity. Observing how someone makes decisions when faced with moral dilemmas provides a deep insight into whether they are truly principled or whether their values change based on convenience. A person's true character is also evident in how they respond to the success of others. Some people genuinely celebrate the achievements of those around them, feeling happy for their friends, colleagues, and even strangers who accomplish great things. They congratulate others sincerely, offer encouragement, and take inspiration from their success. They understand that another person's achievements do not take away from their own, and that success is not a limited resource. These individuals are secure in themselves and see others' victories as motivation rather than as a threat. They may even go out of their way to support others in reaching their goals, knowing that success is best when shared. However, some people react to other success with jealousy, resentment, or bitterness. Instead of being happy for someone else's accomplishments, they feel threatened or envious. They may downplay the other person's achievements, find faults in their success, or make negative comments to diminish their accomplishments. In some cases, they may even try to sabotage others out of insecurity or fear of being left behind. This reaction reveals a deep sense of personal insecurity as well as a scarcity mindset, the belief that someone else's success means there is less available for them. True character is demonstrated by the ability to support and uplift others, rather than feeling the need to compete or bring others down. A person's response to others' success is a strong reflection of whether they are genuinely kind and confident or whether they are driven by insecurity and comparison. The way someone treats people who can do nothing for them is another clear indicator of their true nature. It is easy to be kind and respectful to those in positions of power, authority, or influence because there is often something to gain from the interaction. However, a person's real character is shown in how they treat those who are not in a position to benefit them, such as service workers, strangers, or individuals who are struggling. A kind and respectful person will treat everyone with dignity regardless of their status or ability to provide anything in return. They understand that respect and decency should not be conditional, and that every human being deserves to be treated with kindness. Conversely, some people only show respect to those they perceive as important or useful, while treating others with indifference or even rudeness. They may be polite to their boss but dismissive toward a waiter, friendly with someone wealthy but cold toward someone struggling. This behavior reveals a superficial character, one that is not based on genuine kindness but on self-interest. A truly good-hearted person does not change their treatment of others based on status or benefit. They show the same level of respect and decency to everyone, recognizing the value of each individual regardless of their circumstances. Paying attention to how someone treats those who cannot offer them anything in return is one of the most reliable ways to see their true character. A powerful indicator of character is how a person handles secrets and confidential information. Trust is one of the most valuable aspects of any relationship. Whether it is between friends, family members, colleagues, or romantic partners, some people take the responsibility of confidentiality seriously, understanding that when someone shares personal information with them, it is a sign of trust. They respect this trust by keeping private matters private, never using personal details as gossip or a weapon against others. They understand that maintaining confidentiality is a fundamental part of integrity and loyalty, and they honor the responsibility that comes with being trusted. However, some individuals see confidential information as an opportunity rather than a responsibility. They may share secrets for attention, gossip about others for entertainment, or even use private information against people when conflicts arise. This behavior reveals a deep lack of integrity and reliability. If a person cannot be trusted to keep personal matters private, it suggests they prioritize their own interests over the well-being of others. Trust is difficult to build but easy to break. And someone who frequently shares others' secrets without permission is unlikely to be a truly loyal or dependable person. Observing how someone handles sensitive information can provide deep insight into their character. Whether they are trustworthy and respectful, or whether they see relationships as tools for personal gain. The way a person behaves when they have power over others is one of the strongest indicators of their true character. Power comes in many forms. It can be the authority a person holds in a workplace, the influence they have in social circles, the financial advantage they possess, or even the control they have in personal relationships. Some people use power with humility and responsibility, ensuring that their influence benefits others rather than serving only their own interests. They treat those below them with kindness and fairness, never using their position to intimidate, manipulate, or mistreat others. These individuals understand that leadership and authority come with a duty to protect and uplift, rather than to dominate or exploit. They exercise patience, listen to others, and make decisions that are ethical and just, demonstrating a deep sense of integrity. On the other hand, some people allow power to corrupt them. The moment they gain authority or control, they begin to look down on others, becoming arrogant, demanding, or dismissive. Instead of using their influence for good, they use it to assert dominance, taking advantage of those who are weaker or less privileged. This type of behavior reveals a sense of entitlement and insecurity. Rather than being secure in their position, they feel the need to constantly assert their superiority. They may treat subordinates poorly, ignore the needs of others, or believe that rules do not apply to them simply because they hold power. Instead of fostering a culture of respect and fairness, they create an environment of fear, resentment, or inequality. One of the most concerning aspects of people who misuse power is that their behavior often goes unchecked, especially if those around them are afraid to speak up. They may manipulate situations to benefit themselves, take credit for others' work, or show favoritism without considering fairness. Some even go as far as to mistreat others simply because they know they can get away with it. This kind of behavior not only damages relationships, but also creates a toxic culture wherever they go. People who misuse power are often deeply insecure, using authority as a shield to hide their own weaknesses. Instead of inspiring respect through their actions, they demand it through force, forgetting that true respect is earned, not imposed. A person's true nature is most evident when they are in a position where they have nothing to lose by being unkind, but choose to be respectful and fair instead. The best leaders, mentors, and even friends are those who do not let power change them. They remain humble, understanding that their position is not a justification for mistreating others, but rather an opportunity to make a positive impact. They lead with empathy, make decisions with fairness, and always consider how their actions affect those around them. The way a person handles power, whether they use it responsibly or allow it to control them, reveals whether they have a strong moral foundation or whether they are easily swayed by self-interest and superiority. In the end, a person's true character is not revealed in their words, but in their actions. Especially in moments when they think no one is watching, or when they are faced with difficult choices. The way they treat family, handle failure, respond to others' success, manage power, and navigate moral dilemmas all paint a clear picture of who they truly are. Character is not about convenience, it is about consistency. It is reflected in the small, everyday decisions that shape a person's values and define their integrity. If you want to understand someone's true nature, pay attention to how they behave in these critical moments, because in those moments, their real self is revealed.